Fight.
Yo, what's poppin'? I know that most of you guys are here for Orcust content, and I also know that I have not been delivering lately. So today, we're going to be going over the ultimate Orcust guide. So this is going to be things to remember, and information on the most common and the strongest Orcust variants, in my opinion. Before we hop in, I gotta throw it out there. If you like the video, hit me with a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you don't, that's cool too. I still hope you have a good day. And with that, let's just hop right into it. A few things to remember, specifically regarding Crescendo, is one, you can't activate both the banish and search effect in the same turn. I've done that to people have done that to me. That is absolutely cheating. Can't do that. The other thing, of course, is that it locks you into dark machine monsters. So, and that's for the entirety of the turn. So you can't summon you can't go into Nightmare Phoenix and then activate Crescendo, Search, and keep playing. It's like a Drytron effect where the entirety of the turn you cannot activate, you cannot special summon non-Dark Machine type monsters. Furthermore, with Crescendo, this card can add from the banish pile, which has definitely won me games. It's definitely lost me games by forgetting it. This might be really straightforward, but Girsu's effect to summon tokens counts for nib on both sides. So Girsu send summon tokens is 3 summons. So whenever you can, if you're trying to play around nib, don't activate that effect because you're just going to get slapped with the rock if you do. Another thing to remember with lib is you do have to have a World Legacy monster in your graveyard to summon her out. That is really important and can definitely mess you up if you don't remember that. Again, it's happened to me, so I just want to let you guys know as well. Orchestrated Return can also send monsters from the field to the graveyard. So if you have Babble up and need to, get a ding off board, but you have Return, just activate Return, send the ding from the field to the graveyard, draw 2, and then you have your interruption for next turn. The last thing I want to mention before we get too into it is if you want to see any more content with any of these decks, please let me know in the comments. If you want more in-depth deck profiles, matches, whatever, let me know. I'm happy to oblige wherever I can. So the first variant here is Orcust Eldlich. This was really popular for a bit. I think it's become a little bit less popular, but I could honestly see it becoming more popular now that dragons are gone, because it feels like the meta as a whole is not quite as powerful. So like slower control decks like this can actually survive. Of course, the main goal here is just to use Girsu to set up a Galatea and Crescendo and sit behind that while you just poke with Conquistador, banish stuff with Wakero, and then just exist behind a whole slew of powerful traps. So IDP, Strike, and Torrential Tribute. You can easily replace these with hand traps or other powerful going second cards or floodgates if you like. This is a reminder. These are just templates, like places to get you started, but these are not end-all be-all definitive lists. So take that as you will. The other thing I'll mention regarding these lists is all of these lists are going to be in the description. So if you don't feel like listening to me talk, just go there, download them. Let me know what you think. But yeah, so that's the general thing. Of course, with this deck, you want to remember you're going to, in general, be using the Orcust cards on your turn and the Eldlich cards on your opponent's turn, because Orcust monsters lock you into darks, and Scarlet locks you into zombies. So that's something to remember, something important to note. There's nothing super interesting about the extra deck. Most of it is going to be prosperity fodder, because mostly we're just going to be sitting on Galatea. Mostly we're just going to be sitting on Galatea, and then you could just banish the rest with whatever. Girsu, of course, is a 1-card Zeus if you ever need it, which will absolutely come up, so that's something to remember. And I think that's it for this list. Let's go on to another control variant, and that is Striker Orcust. And again, these are preliminary or not fully optimized, but um, this deck is going to play very similarly to the last list, where you use the Orcust engine to sit behind Crescendo, and then use the Striker engine to set up interruptions in the form of Widow Anchor and Shark Cannon. There are a lot of really cool interactions with Girsu and Area Zero and Area Zero and Crescendo. Like just normal summon Girsu, Girsu send Nightmare, Girsu summon tokens, and then you send the token for Area Zero, just free cards. And then also if you just open Crescendo plus Area Zero, same thing. So activate Area Zero, set Crescendo, activate Area Zero on Crescendo. You know, like if you pick up Engage, for instance, and then you send the Crescendo and then activate the Crescendo effect to add a Girsu, normal Girsu, go into Galatea, and you've just got free advantage, free interruptions. It's really cool. And same thing in the extra deck here. There's nothing particularly spicy or interesting. Ding, when in my testing, didn't come up much, so I'm only at 1, but we could easily swap something out in here. 2 Hayate, 2 Kagari, and a Shiz. Nothing crazy. At first I was running with 0 Ray, but Ray does come up, especially since it can be a free monster off of Area 0. So you may as well have that in there. It's another really cool variant. It's any deck that can play Engage. It got stronger with it coming off of the ban list, so I'm happy to throw it in here. I guess the last thing to remember, of course, Foolish Burial Goods plays double duty here. You use it to send Crescendo, or you use it to send, Engage, drones, whatever you need for whichever engine you are working on getting up and rolling at the moment. From here, we are onto a more combo-based variant. This is, of course, Rokket Orcust. This deck didn't receive any hits with the ban list, which is amazing. The main goal here, of course, it is to summon the Pepega Ruler, mill 5, get your engine going while generating a whole bunch of advantage. We've got a bunch of draw power and chaos space, orchestrated return, and talents if need be. And we've got a whole slew of starters. So Tracer's a starter, Ravine is a starter, Chaos Space is a starter, Quick Launch is a starter, and of course Girsu's a starter. So if you don't open one of these, then you're just unlucky. I don't know what to tell you. You could, if you choose to, include even more gas in this deck. Like if you wanted to, like you can run Nocto, you can run World Legacy Guard Dragon, you can run Red MD if you really want to go heavier on the dragons, but I don't know if that's necessarily best. I like having a lot of going second cards, so that's why there are 11 in this deck. Again, not optimized. So, I need you to test it, make it better, and get back to me. Let's see. Anything else to note about this? There's nothing crazy. Seal is a card that I didn't play enough when I first was playing this deck, but it's honestly really good. If you get interrupted, to just end on a seal and survive for a turn and get back into it next turn. So this is one of the most fun variants to me because it's just so fast. I love a deck where you can go through half of it in a single turn, and with Pepega Ruler, Mill, and 5, like all of these cards basically do something in the graveyard. So yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad to just mill everything and go from there. From there, we have the classic Scrap Orcust. This is the variant I've been playing the most lately, and I personally think it is the strongest. Going first, like Scrap Raptor or Scrap Recycler, you could just set up super strong boards, and just having any single extender, it lets you go into Scrap Wyvern and keep playing, and again, set up a strong board with multiple interruptions. And going second, like especially games 2 and 3, you've got Urgent Schedule, which is just a broken card. And at the very worst, it's going to eat a hand trap, and then you just play with any of your other starters. So we've got a whole bunch of starters. The other main thing is, if you open Recycler plus Fossil Dig, then of course you can just search Gillosaurus, have an extender, so that you don't just insta-lose to Ash, or of course Fossil Dig just serves as a starter on its own. Being able to set up Citadel is amazing. It's just a nice Raigeki on your opponent's turn, which is just chef's kiss. Really, really frustrating to play against. And yeah, really there aren't that many bricks. Like Golem can be a brick if you don't have a way to discard it, but if you do, then it's not too bad because you can just revive it with a Wyvern. Rosenex, same thing. But if you have a way to discard it, it's just still not that bad. There's flexibility for a bunch of going second cards. Right now I'm running these 8, but again, that is subject to change based on the meta. The other things to know, 2 Scrap Wyvern is honestly really important. Helps in the grind game, helps if your first Scrap Wyvern doesn't resolve, then next turn you can just do it all again. It has come up for me multiple times. Lib's effect to non-targeting shuffle back is just amazing. God, it's just so broken. Paired with IP, shuffling back whatever threat on your opponent's turn is just so good. Of course, Savage is here because we have, level 4 tuner and then a few level 4s. And he comes up, but I'm sure there's honestly a better use of this slot in the extra deck. This is like, really, I'd say this is the flex spot. I would say everything else is basically set in stone. But yeah, I love this deck. It's super, super fun right now. Scrap Raptor wasn't as impactful as people originally sold it, but having another starter is always nice. And on top of that, that also lets Fossil Dig become a starter. So instead of having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways to get to Recycler, we now have, in this deck, 11, which is just much, much more likely. The other thing is it is important to run 3 Recycler, because if we have to go for the Metal Cruncher play, we don't want to leave anything to chance, because when I leave anything to chance, I always lose. So yeah, super cool deck. I love it. And this is, I think, what I'm going to be playing mostly next format. Yeah, other than Drytrons, because that deck is also sick. Finally, we have PK Orcust. This was my favorite for a long time, and then, I don't know, it just kind of stopped being my thing as much, I guess, but it's still a powerful deck. You can set up so many interruptions, and it's pretty consistent. We've got a good number of starters, plus a good amount of draw power. And yeah, it's just really cool. And just being able to mix our interruptions on our opponent's turn is really nice. So it's not all monsters, not all spells and traps. Like, we'll be able to have Fog Blades plus like Ding Send, Rusty Pop, and of course back that up with some hand traps. Something that I didn't play enough when I was really playing this deck a lot was the Burning Abyss package. That just gives us some free monsters as we're going into Cherubini and Rusty. The other important thing to remember in this deck is you can send Symbol with Cherubini, which is really, really, really nice. If you're able to get just any other Orcust monster in the grave, just go into Cherubini, send Symbol, and then play with both of your engines. Yeah, super solid deck. We've got a lot of searchers, again, a lot of draw power, and yeah, a lot of interruptions. This deck also has easier access to Zeus than the other decks because we're running Dante and Break Sword, and then also Ding, of course. So yeah, there's not much more to say on this. Yeah, those are like the 5, 6, I can't count anymore, 5 primary Orcust variants, at least for now. I'm sure there are like 1,000 other ones out there. And you'll notice I didn't cover pure Orcust. I just think it's hard to win with only Orcust cards at the moment. They just need a little bit more oomph to get them over the hill, But I guess that's all I've got for now. Again, if you like the video, hit me with a like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. If you don't, that's cool too. I still hope you're having a good vibing Thursday. It's almost the weekend, and I hope you have fun on the weekend too. All that being said, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.